By the way, why wouldn't you stand in the needleless line? Like, why would you not do that? I don't, that's, can you
There's
do
always
this?
one or two.
Right, there is, right? I was starting to think, why wouldn't you? I don't understand. Can you give us the PharmaJet elevator pitch overview as it stands today? Just give us a fresh overview for all the people that have no idea of what we're talking about. Go for it.
You bet. So we are a needle-free jet injection technology, and jet means that there's a fast fluid injection that goes into your body in less than 1/10 of a second. We have 2 device platforms that cover all tissue depths, so intramuscular and subcutaneous in one platform and intradermal in the other. They are fully scaled and validated, which is a big word in FDA speak, meaning that they are audited. We have volume production with robotics. We've chosen a contract manufacturing relationship so that we don't need to own the building, but we own the technology.
Cool.
And we manufacture in Wisconsin with a group called Philips MedSize. We are now working on our second capacity increase, which will be in Singapore, with a group called Univac. We have achieved all of our critical regulatory credentials like FDA, CE mark, World Health Organization approval. We are the first and only jet injection technology to do that.
Very cool.
Plus, we have registration in 42 other countries with 50 more underway. We have 47 issued patents and more pending, and new claims always being filed.
Okay, so let me just stop you right there. Is the so the attorney that you've been using for all this lives in a giant mansion somewhere?
Actually, he's pretty good value for money. We're not big spenders.
Okay. All right, go ahead. You're telling patents and all that. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
We don't mention trade secrets, frankly, because what we do is really hard. So if you consider that we compete with needles, we have a bit of a razor blade approach. So our syringes are disposable. We have filling adapters that attach to vials that allow you to download any medicine. And then the injectors are long life. We've tested them to 30,000 uses without failure. Cool. So they're fractional pennies per injection. Mm-hmm. The ability for us to essentially serve all vaccine administration through our devices, which are optimized for vaccine delivery. Sorry for the dogs in the background.
That's all right. That's all right. Today, people understand with podcasts and everybody working from home. It's all good.
And so we have, in general, a lot of these kind of, I call them, the foundation pieces, the core foundation to what we do. And we are now at commercial state. But because of the fact that we have that foundation, plus we've completed several clinical studies, and we've been involved in 60 human clinical studies that have been completed to date, 70 more in process. And that's a big deal because, Steve, where the claims come from, where I can highly recommend, for instance, that you go get your flu shot, is because we actually did the studies, filed with the FDA, and have the ability to promote for that we've studied it. Everybody, it's safe, it's efficacious, and it's non-inferior to needles. We're also the only needle-free jet injection technology that has a claim of generating a superior immune response using a fractional dose. So we're part of the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, where we've demonstrated through studies led by the WHO and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and CDC that 60% less injected into your skin is superior in immune response to a full dose into your muscle.
Really? Okay. Yeah. All right. Somebody that's in charge of expenses is hearing that going, yeah, that's good. Yes. Why not do that?
Right. Ka-ching, right. We save in polio vaccine in the poorest of countries competing against 5-cent needles. We save a full 30% for every immunization back for the user. And in part, we get 20% more out of the vials. So remember that early aha during the H1N1 scenario. We also don't have any needles to get rid of, so we don't have expensive sharps disposal. We don't really leave behind hazardous trash. And it's a very fast process. So push and click, you can process patients typically 2 to 3 times faster than needle delivery.
Why aren't we using this everywhere right now? Like, why are we still using needles? I'm listening to you describe this, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a no-brainer. Well, what are we waiting on? Tell me, is it a scaling, bandwidth, can't produce enough? What do you have back orders for 2 years? What's the situation?
Well, it's a combination of things. So during our 2011 era, just after we had scaled our primetime device, the FDA changed the entire regulatory landscape and said, now you need to go do clinical claims, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
if anybody knows what the word force majeure is, right, out of nowhere, all of a sudden the rules changed, which caused us several years of additional work.
Oh.
So the concept of clinical claims for the example that everybody knows is you're listening to the news in the morning, then they have this commercial and a happy family running through the park, and then this asthma remedy that they advertise. And then at the end, they go slowly and talk about how if you take this product, you might die and you might stop breathing, right? That's an example of a clinical claim, because during that clinical study, that's what happened. In other words, the FDA wanted to make sure that the drug makers were very transparent that some of these drugs aren't completely safe. So we have clinical claims, and the good news is nothing happened, right? We're the same as a needle and syringe. Everybody is safe, it's effective, et cetera. And so we're able to walk through the door and talk about those things because we have regulatory approvals for that purpose. And while that was really hard and expensive to navigate, and generally all drugs and all devices are now subject to the same thing. What it's done is it's created a competitive barrier for anyone to try and follow PharmaJet. So we estimate that we're 5 to 8 years ahead of anyone who would like to try.
Okay, very good. So a nightmare situation actually turned into a silver lining blessing. When that happened to you, during that first few months when that was happening and the rules changed and you're like, oh shit, okay, so now whatever our expense budget was, forget that. Now you're having to do this major pivot. Were there some dark nights there where you're like, okay, I don't know if we can do it. I'm tired, I can't do this anymore. Were there a few of those nights?
Oh, all the time. It was probably because of my experience in Central and Eastern Europe, and very clearly Poland specifically, because I lived there. There was force majeure that happened every day. And so it wasn't that it was just normal, because that wasn't okay, right? In other words, you needed to figure out how to fix it or get beyond the barrier or go a different direction. But when this happened, it's like calling in the Avengers. You call in the A-team. And we had already developed several collaborations that were really meaningful, like with the World Health Organization and the CDC and many of our customers. We all kind of, we were not only perplexed about why this had happened, but it was like, oh, let's figure out how we can fix this.
Yeah.
So today the FDA is an official reference for us, and we're really proud of the fact that we've created some stunning data, first and onlys, and it's given us again this silver lining of a position that we don't think there'll be another PharmaJet.
If you think today's tip or guest interview can help someone you know, please share this with them. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to hit that little bell next to the subscribe button so you can be notified when we release a new episode. Our show features entrepreneurs, business executives, and the stories behind how they got there, as well as daily tips on career advice and job interviews. You can visit Riderflex.com to learn more about us and get information on the recruiting and consulting services we provide. Thanks so much for listening, and have a great day.